Mabuhay, Kamustika, welcome. How are you? This is Bob from Love Beyond the Sea. We have a live stream starting here at 6 a.m. Central Time, USA. It's Monday night, my usual night. And for those of you on the newsletter, I did send out a newsletter with this live stream and the topic. And like I mentioned in that newsletter, this probably will be the last live stream I do until I can get 1,000 subscribers. There's certain reasons for that, and whereas you might try to do an upload in 10 minutes, 15 minutes, or even a little more if you have a lot to cover and don't want to do it in two parts. But live streams can easily go 2 hours if you have enough people there to talk. And some people will go 3, 4, 5, 6 hours or longer. And I just couldn't do that anyway unless I wasn't working the next day. So also, I think because of the length of live streams, they are not often watched very much after, let's say within 48 hours of doing it. So, you invest 2 or 3 hours into something and a day or two later, you don't get very many more views. You're probably better off putting your time and energy into uploads where you can get more people to watch it because it's shorter. And your retention rate theoretically would be better with longer videos. The problem is, who has time to stick around for really long videos? So just to say here at the outset, as hopefully we'll be joined by people tonight on the usual night for me, which is Monday night. I've been sick for a couple of weeks and did not work for 2 weeks. Went back today, and I had it's called a human metapneumovirus. Kept me out for 2 weeks. We had to break out the heavy artillery with the codeine, cough syrup, and the prednisone, and that seems to have made a lot of difference. I may cough tonight, but I would have coughed a lot by now if I hadn't taken anything. So just to let you know, we do have a topic tonight, and that is social media helping or hurting relationships. Dr. Philippines will talk about that, but I certainly want to hear from you because that's the whole point of doing live streams, is to have the viewers ask questions about this topic or anything else that they want to talk about. Love Beyond the Sea is a channel to help foreigners to find a Filipino wife, encourage men to find any wife overseas because they could just keep getting stuck where they are and not having any success. And I would think that there would be a market for people to find love overseas. That's what I want to continue to do. It just may not be with the live streams. And I say 1,000 subscribers simply because that's typically been the number where the YouTube algorithm gets to be more kind to you and helps your channel to get more easily recognized. Otherwise, it's just very much of an uphill climb. And so I think after tonight, unless there's some special reason to do a live stream, I will just stick with the uploads. But I have a topic here I would like to talk about for those that would like to join me. Right now, I am still waiting. It's 6:04. This clock is live streams as if they didn't even show up and nobody saw them. And maybe that's what's going to happen here tonight, because I think at this point I am the only one here. If that's the case, then that will be a very unceremonial or unceremonious, I guess, final live stream for a while. There's the first cough of the night. Now it might take it's taken about 25 months to get where I'm at now, 400 and what is it, 78 subscribers. So it might be another 26 months or so to get enough to get to 1,000. And if so, well, that's just the way it'll be. We'll just keep grinding through it, and maybe one day reach that 1,000. Then it'll be a lot easier. Hi, Big Rob. How are you tonight? Just Big Rob just saying here, I think this will be my last live stream and until I can garner about 522 more subscribers. Might take 26 months or so more. By that time I'll be in my 60s, seriously. But I think I'm probably better off investing in uploads. And if people want to communicate with me, there's always a community corner. I have it linked there right underneath the first link, which is for lovebeyondthesea.wordpress.com. There's a community corner on there. There's a link there. If people want to talk to me, even Mr. E, who designed this amazing WordPress site, they can do that there. They can watch the videos. And there's a relationship lounge, a lifestyle lounge there where people can gather, and hopefully in time more people will gather, and they can talk to each other there with private messaging in groups or one-on-one. I do that myself, and hopefully one day that will be something that will be larger. Excuse me, and people can come and meet there at lovebeyondthesea.wordpress.com. But yeah, Big Rob, that's my thoughts for now. As I said, these live streams can take hours, which is fine with me. I don't have any real problem with that. It's just that, you're not likely to get, unless 1,000 people watch it when it happens, not many people are going to watch it after the fact. And 2 days out from a live stream, I think most of us aren't going to fare very well. So I think I'm just going to do this one and then focus on the upload. So I appreciate the thumbs up. Maybe someone was saying, hey, way to go, no more live streams. But hopefully that's not the case. I have enjoyed doing them. And when we get to 1,000, if we get to 1,000, I can always do post, which I can't even do now, and put a thumbnail up there and say, hey, this is going to be the topic. Here's when it's going to be. And I've been using the newsletter for that, which I did not link because I just don't plan on doing the live streams after tonight. And then people can communicate, leave comments, on the community corner. Check that out if you have not. That was also designed by the enigmatic one, Mr. E. We're going to leave that up there in hopes that one day people can go to it. Well, Big Rob, I appreciate that. That's one way. The vision for that was that one day men from all over the world can go there and talk to like-minded people about women from all over the country. I wanted to be a relatively, what's the word, well-run, decent community corner. You can check it out, lifestyle, relationships. Just see what's in there now. I've been putting some questions in there. People can leave their comments. You can communicate with me. Just there should be a way there with a bot to help you learn how to use the features. And if you want to have a private conversation, you can do that, and that'll all be there in that WordPress place. You kind of get the whole feature there. It's got the Twitter site, the Facebook. My wife's channel is in there. Mr. E has some commentary. My videos are there, and the message board. So thank you, Big Rob. I noticed, Big Rob, on my phone here as I scramble to take a shower and sit down, uh, that you had a video that where your fiance is being kind of locked down. Is that true? Nothing yet here in Nebraska. I mean, you see the little signs where things are happening. I went to grocery store yesterday, and they had put up a glass barrier or shield. Looked like a teleprompter right in front of all of the not tellers, cashiers, just to keep the I guess potential virus from potentially spreading. And so I'd never seen that before, but that's a new one. Phil Phoenix, hi John, how are you tonight? Glad to have you here tonight. What else? The bank tellers are now saying they want you to go to the main branches and the drive-throughs. Fortunately, one of them is on the way home, so it's not that far from the one that we use. United American Emirates, is that it? Is locking down. Dubai. Who knows? In 2 weeks, that might be here. Although we just today at work got a sheet of paper to keep in our cars to show law enforcement that we are allowed to go to work. And sometimes we work at really early in the morning. So if you're driving around, police officer sees you on a Saturday or Sunday morning at 4 o'clock, they might say, well, you shouldn't be out here. We can show them this paper, and it says we're considered essential personnel. So because we need to be allowed to go to work. So that's one thing our work is doing to make sure that people can get to work. Phil says John says, Phil's Phoenix, they sent everyone from Cindy's office home to work. Yes. So John, is she able to work from home? I mean, our financial advisor is working from home now, except they have all their big files back in the office. So it's not exactly the same thing as it was. But you're going to hear a lot of that. I know another man, California, has had to do the same thing. He owns his own business. They're all working from home. Here in Nebraska, nothing major. I mean, yeah, there are cases, but usually, it'll get the East Coast and West Coast before anything really happens here. So kind of a delayed effect. But we'll see. But I think we can count on going to work unless we actually come up with the virus. I was at work today for the first time in 2 weeks, and they sent out some emails. So-and-so just, may have been exposed, somebody in the state, and they went to this store and this eating place and this gym and whatever, and if you were there in the last 2 days, talk to the nurse because you might have to go home and stuff like that. So it is happening. The topic I have here tonight on what will probably be my last live stream for quite a while, because I'd like to get up to 1,000 subscribers before I resume that. It takes a lot of time. They don't get watched a lot after the fact. So the retention rate doesn't really last very long. I think you're better off making uploads and hopefully getting those watched, because a 10-minute, 12-minute upload probably has greater watch potential than a 3-hour video. As fun as those might be, I don't mind them at all. There's only so much time. Like I said, I work generally 6 days a week, and I just want to focus on uploads. But I would like to talk about, is social media helping or hurting relationships? Dr. Philippines. I'm going to talk about that tonight. John says kind of the same with her work. She's in a payroll processing company. So you can get some things done at home, but it's not like being there. And where I work, I noticed like around the microwaves, they had in the, what do you call it, the can recycle can machines, they had yellow lines to make sure, I guess, that you're the only one in that space. They've taken tables out of the cafeteria and left some of them in there and moved some of them out. to reduce the amount of people that can actually sit there. So it's really making it two places instead of one. And so that's something they can do. And we got to keep the doors open at work. So they'll just do things like that. And we'll just do what we can. John says, I think the internet is, in general, is a huge help. Um, and I just jotted down a few pros for social media, i.e., the internet. I think with John, with long distance relationships, or in the case of many of us, Westerner and a Filipina, it's called a VLDR, a very long distance relationship. It definitely helps because, I mean, in the old days, you had to write letters. It was it was done that way, but I would think there's a lot more chance to get into trouble doing it that way than now. I never had, before I met my wife online. I joined Christian Filipina. I'd had a computer for 3, 4 years, never had a webcam. Um, got that worked out, and that computer is now upstairs, actually. We had that to try to train my mom, who lives with us, but she really hasn't gotten into it. But it's kind of a sentimental value now. That computer is upstairs with the webcam. I met my wife, and when you're so far away, do you think you're more relaxed when you're talking to someone that could be 20 years younger, from another country, another culture? And I mean, it could go either way. I felt it was relaxing to me. I could jot down some notes, maybe, and some questions, and talk to this woman that I married. And I was surprised that the Filipinos were so friendly. They were cheerful. They didn't seem nervous. And that put me at ease. Using the internet, I could make a list of a number of Filipinos to talk to, which I did. Somewhere down here on my desk I still have that list from 2015 of my finalists, and Aiza is on there, and I don't know why I still have it. I guess I just it was written in the back somewhere, so I don't think I knew what was on that pad. But I had my notes, mostly on her, and we just took it from there, and never really were uncomfortable talking to each other. She wanted a husband, I wanted a wife. And so we just started communicating from 9,800 flight miles away. I went out to meet her and get married to her right then and there, less than 8 weeks later. So for us, John and Big Rob, it was a nice experience. And I had tried dating sites here. That's social media too. eHarmony, Plenty of Fish, Christian Mingle, Match.com, a couple of these places. I did them twice. I'm sure some of you guys have as well. And it was very frustrating because there was just no action, and then some of them you figured, oh, this can't be real. This can't be a true person. It was very frustrating. It's just like real life, only worse because you get your hopes up. But when it came to very long distance relationship, I think maybe the women are a little more realistic and serious about finding a husband. So that certainly worked. Being able to see each other without having to get dressed up and go somewhere, when you don't want your life to be so fast paced that you're stressed out all the time. But it is nice to get comfy and get cleaned up and maybe get something to eat, and then contact somebody, and you don't have to go anywhere. I mean, if you have the time, you could probably talk to more than one person in one day until you decide who you're going to focus on. I think social media, a plus for dating, can give you some confidence. It could be false confidence too, but you can have some confidence when you're trying to communicate with someone, and it looks like you can hit it off, and maybe you can get a smile from them. Maybe You can kind of get a good vibe that they're paying attention. They're not allowing themselves to get distracted when they're talking to you. You certainly don't want to be having the TV or the radio on. And you don't want them to do the same thing either. So I think that if you can find somebody serious, the internet, social media is a great way. However, there are some things that can work against a person too. Just let me know about this comment, this topic here. Is social media helping or hurting relationships? Because I think in general, I would say, boy, this social media is hurting relationships because people don't ever get together one-on-one anymore. You know, coronavirus deaths surpassed 100 in one day in America. That's news alert that just came across the screen. But yeah, and this has been going on for a long time now. And people used to just get together and hang out, in the neighborhood on your porch. You go out and visit and socialize, and that doesn't seem to happen that much anymore. And so that can make it difficult, because I think you can your social skills can stagnate. They may not grow like they could on social media, potentially, because you don't have to be out there right in front of somebody in their space. You don't have to make the effort to look nice, smell nice, whatever, put on some nice clothes and go out and meet someone. And and there are pluses about doing that. And so I suppose a person could get complacent doing their dating online. Also, it's also easier to reject someone. It's easier to get rejected if you are online. Social media, Facebook, whatever, Skype. There's so many different apps and dating services. Maybe in real life, they might catch your eye more. Maybe something would stand out, but you do it online, and maybe it's just easier to just reject and get in the habit of doing that. It's possible that online it could make a person maybe a little lazy somehow, relying on online when, who knows, maybe they won't work as hard because they'll psychologically think, well, I can find somebody, not in a big hurry now, because this is supposed to make it work so much easier, and maybe they get complacent. Maybe they think a little bit more highly of themselves than they should, if they think that their odds are better on social media. I don't know, is it harder or easier to open up with someone when you're sitting right there in front of them, rather than all the way, who knows, at a distance like we are now, where if something doesn't go right, I can just click away and that's that. So also, like I said, maybe get a little bit complacent, lazy, don't work as hard to get to know someone. I certainly am grateful for social media, dating sites, webcams. Social media might be easier for somebody that leans that way, whereas extroversion maybe works better, in real face-to-face, situations. But I want to know what you guys think about this topic. Didn't want to talk about the coronavirus, really. That's all anybody talks about. I'm married to a Filipina. Phil's Phoenix is married to a Filipina. And Big Rob, you are halfway there. And I do regret for you that you're hit with these travel restrictions. In fact, John, I think you might be faced with that too. Travel restrictions and going to the Philippines or any country right now, Dubai, anywhere, My wife went 3 times last year. We just got back in January, so I don't think she wants to go back until 2021, although I wouldn't mind it. But I think she's those 24 flights that she made um, kind of can take a toll on you, and she only has so much vacation. So we'll probably be saving and thinking about 2021 to go back out to the Philippines again. Um, Certainly, we hope that things are better by that time. And speaking of my wife, I I hope she's doing well, because when I came home from work, went in the kitchen and I saw her cell phone. Her cell phone. That means her cell phone is not in her purse. It's not with her at break, and I don't know. I don't know if my wife can handle not having her cell phone, because if you marry a Filipina, you probably know that cell phone is very, very important. Social media is very important to her, especially if she's here and not in the Philippines. She's going to have a lot of people, on her contact list to talk to, and I know when I leave my phone, which happens about twice a year, I'll forget it in the kitchen usually. If I'm listening to it, getting some food ready, it really upsets me, because I don't know, what do I do? I think they still have newspapers there once in a while, but sometimes those can get hard to read. So I'm so used to using my phone and catching up with stuff. I know it probably bothers my wife even more. So being the nice husband I am, I did, I'm charging her phone up, and I did that, and then I'm going to charge her charger up, her Mophie, so that when she gets home, and I will be fast asleep, I hope, she will appreciate that. So I know there's 6 fellows here tonight, and I would appreciate your comments here, or else we will have a short live stream tonight on this topic: is social media helping or hurting relationships? It could be your thoughts on your own relationships before you met the person that you're going to marry or that you did marry, observations you've had with other people. Do you think social media has been a help or a hindrance to them in trying to find a girlfriend or a boyfriend, a husband or a wife? And I will make mention again, as you think about that, of the WordPress.com blog site that we have. Mr. E put that together and did a wonderful job. And since I don't plan on doing any more live streams, unless I can get to 1,000 subscribers before I die, this will be the last one. I don't know, unless I end up doing an interview or something like that, like I did with Christine from Christian Filipina. That might have been 16, 17 days ago. And that one did well. It wasn't a live stream, I think. No, it wasn't a live stream. I taped it with her and I put it up there. But that's the last video upload that I did that has done pretty good. The Montelli video, God is wrong, or excuse me, God is never wrong. Steve Montelli is wrong about God. I did that one, and that has done well. And I'd like them all to do better. I'm sure anyone of you that has a YouTube channel would like to see it do good. And you try different things, and sometimes people just throw in the towel. And I can understand that. There's a lot of competition out there, a lot of channels out there. Philippines vlogging community, there's a lot of vloggers out there. Would have been nice to get in during the golden days right away. And as I've said before, being in the Philippines really helps a channel. It just does. My numbers have come crashing down like the stock market, once we got out of the Philippines, where we had a 3-week vacation. I mean, big time drops in all respects. So we don't plan on being there for at least another 4 years. So we're just going to scratch, bite, and claw, and keep putting uploads up there. And I've got lots of ideas. And Dr. Philippines will be talking about relationship questions and love questions. I've got a couple hundred videos to tape on, more specifically with a foreigner and a Filipina. So the content is there. I'm just not planning on doing a live stream until we can grow the channel more, get it to about 1,000, which again, that may take another 26 months or so to reach that goal. So I guess it's going to be a slow build, but that's better than no build. John says, I'm hoping our channel will grow more after our move. Several have when they've moved. Yeah, I'll tell you what. I would say the watch minutes I had were over the threshold for monetization, which isn't really easy to do. I think it was around 21,000 watch minutes that month, that period when I was out there, and now it's down to like 10,000 something. It's about half down. Subscribers were at an all-time high those 3 weeks. Views have been down, probably from what did we have? They're down over 50%, sometimes 70% down. So that's kind of depressing, of course, but you just, as long as I feel like I can help someone, and hopefully the community corner is another way to help people get together and talk to other people about it. It doesn't have to be somebody from the Philippines. It could be somebody from another country. It'd be great if people would get together and talk to men from all over the world there and hang out and have these private discussions or in groups, however you want to set that up. And that's the community corner is a link right there. And then the whole blog is there as well. And it's something Mr. E set up, and we're just going to let that roll because I think it has excellent potential, and we just have to be patient. And so that's what I'm going to try to do. People looking for women in Dubai or the Philippines, Dominican Republic, Europe, wherever. Guys are looking for wives, foreign wives. So why not have one place where they can go if they're serious-minded individuals and talk about their experiences with different cultures and different age gaps, whatever they want to talk about. They can just make their own topic and start conversing with other people. So I guess rather than try to interact here on these live streams, get another COVID-19 deal. We had someone at work was going to be retiring, and usually we have people get together and say goodbye to them and have cake, and they're going to cancel that because you can't have gatherings, 10 or more people. So gyms are closing, stores are closing earlier, pharmacies are closing earlier. Like I said, you might not be able to go to the grocery store and deposit something or whatever. You got to go to a branch. And if you want to have some personal interaction, just some kind of minor inconveniences right now, but I'm sure other people in other parts of the world, it's a bigger inconvenience. So that's what I wanted to say tonight. Social media was very good for me. I believed that if I had a chance, I could have sat down with women and found somebody locally However, that just wasn't in the cards. So I decided it was now or never. And I tried to communicate with someone from the Philippines. Had no idea how far away it was or what it was like. I just knew I had to get married, and I did. And so I got some videos out there, some uploads on questions to ask at different stages, just how to be prepared for webcamming with a Filipina. Um, be a little bit prepared. I mean, they're probably, even if they're nervous, they probably won't seem like it. They'll probably giggle a lot. But you need to initiate and have some lighthearted banter. You don't want to be too serious. But I got videos on the initial conversations and to gauge compatibility, and then before you're ready to propose and get serious. And then I've even got one I can do on questions to ask after you're married. Lots of questions to get to know, and those are available in videos here on this channel, Love Beyond the Sea. And so for the time being, I just want to say I have enjoyed interacting with people. The live streams is the best way to interact in real time. Otherwise, I'm just going to have to do it with uploads and comments and the community corner. Again, people can contact me there through those direct messages, and or contact anyone else. Surely there's a way there to see who else is on board, and they can communicate with them. So yeah, it may be a while. I may be 60 and gray by then, before you see me on another live stream. Unless there's somebody else's live stream or I do an interview or something, I'm just going to plan on rolling out as many uploads as I can, and be more efficient with that. So one more chance here for anyone to ask a question. Since this topic isn't generating much discussion, before I go, you want to ask any question about anything related to Westerner and Filipina, YouTube, that sort of thing, I'm here. It's only 6:38, and I've got uploads I can work on, but for the time being, we're still doing a live stream here at the 38-minute mark. And I've noticed that for some reason, and I don't know if it's an algorithm correction, but I see a lot, if you go to Social Blade, I see a lot of negatives for the 91 or so channels that I subscribe to. Because I try to learn what I can from these analytics, where they're from, just how many videos they put out, the views, whether they're going up or down, and a lot of them have been going down. Quiet Night, well, John, it is. I mean, I was home for 2 weeks, and I went out in the middle of the week, in the middle of the day, to go drive around. Thank you for the thumbs up. And it felt like I was driving on a Sunday. It was just like nobody around. And then, the gym was closed, and I wonder if the mall, part of the mall was closed. There's just no cars. Everything is just so quiet and mild. People here in Nebraska seem to be doing a good job of not going outside. So I don't know, that sometimes I wonder if that's why things are kind of quieting down here on YouTube. Maybe it's just the channel. Maybe people aren't interested in finding love beyond the sea. I don't know. I appreciate the thumbs up. I do know that people are interested in finding love beyond the sea. I mean, it took me less than 8 weeks after 30 years of just beating my head in the wall. How am I going to find anybody to give me the time of day? It wasn't hard. It's just a matter of which Filipina I wanted to choose to invest my life in, and where she lived and how soon she wanted to get married. And it was a wonderful choice. All of that pain and disappointment meant to be, because it led me to keep going and be hungry and try things out of my comfort zone. And now I have a channel where I want to encourage other people. And so that's what the 430 some videos are, more or less. But John, people will say, well, put your wife in there more. Well, that doesn't seem to work. The videos are too long. Make the videos shorter. Well, that doesn't seem to work. Do the live streams. Well, that has worked in the past, but right now, yeah, you're right. Awfully quiet. The way it is right now. John Thomas, good to see you here tonight, John. This nice kind of crisp, cool Monday evening in Nebraska. It should be lighter than this, but it isn't. And John says, my love is beyond the sea, but it will be a period of time until I will see her again. Well, John, hopefully you're not getting stalled and you weren't on your way to see her and then something happened. I know a Filipina at work that's married to a Westerner, and they are stuck in the Philippines. They can't leave. I think they'll be back sometime in April. Then they will have a mandatory stay at home for 2-week period. So I don't know what's going to happen with their job situation. If they had children, I know at work they're giving you 2 weeks paid leave, but they don't. So I don't know what's going to happen with them. A lot of people wondering what their situation is be like. The workplaces say if you don't feel good, stay home, but they do keep track of sick days and tardies and stuff like that. So since I was home for 2 weeks, I got short-term disability. That meant no sick days. It's all short-term disability. So that was good. But we identified a virus. It was a real tough one to get rid of. But codeine and what's the other one? I can never remember it. I can't remember it now. I can't think of it, but I think it does work. Nacky Dave, good to see you here, Nacky Dave. Yeah, frustrating. Well, you mean trying to find love beyond the sea, or just general times, YouTube? What do you have in mind, Nacky Dave? I appreciate your comments on a video here recently. But I was just saying here, I think it'll be under an hour tonight. Just kind of say I'm going to wait until I get to about 1,000 subscribers. I guess I could purchase those subs. Do you know anybody that's ever done that? Purchase subs, purchase views. You can do that. I don't really have a strong feeling against it, to be honest with you. I know some people do, but businesses do it all the time. Some YouTubers do that. Problem is, you still got to get real subscribers that are really watching your videos, but it can give you some attention, which is not a bad thing. But I think I'm going to do it the hard way and just see where it goes, even though it may be a couple years. We'll just do it, and then maybe we'll be doing some more live streams when we get to 1,000. So I won't be going anywhere. I'll still be doing uploads. Mackie Dave says, not enough funds to visit my online girlfriend. 1 year, 3 months corresponding. Let's delete that. Well, congratulations. You must have something solid for 1 year and 3 months. And hopefully, Naki, you know what you need to save in order to go over there. Part of that depends on how long you're going to stay and what you're going to do. I mean, in my case, I went there to marry my wife before I'd ever met her. I didn't think anything would go wrong, and it didn't. So it was going to be more expensive because we have the wedding and the honeymoon and staying in a condo. So it was different, than just going to meet somebody. Um, and plane tickets, I think that was one of the more expensive ones I had. But if you're just going one flight or two flights, that's going to be probably a lot less expensive than three or four flights. It's four flights for us, and I'd rather spend a little more than drive to another state and maybe cut down on one flight, because it still takes time. And what happens if something happens to your car on the way there? And so, but congratulations on having your relationship, and very frustrating. I guess you couldn't go anyway with the coronavirus situation, but and I hope the situation doesn't affect your finances, as in not being able to work. There's a lot of things we spend our money on. I'm not saying you're doing this, but I used to still do spend a lot of money on chocolate, a lot of money. Save money on chocolate and gum, and I could probably go every year, get a flight to the Philippines. It just depends on your habits and your interests and your hobbies, and for some of us will need to make some changes, reduce some things to have a savings plan to get out there. And of course, the more times you go, the more it's going to cost. How many times did you visit her before you married? I visited her and got married. Met her online on the 17th of March, 2015. I asked her to marry me online. 18 days later, April 4th, got a ring. April 25th, I think it was. I think I met her. 26th or 27th, I had the embassy, get the paperwork and stuff like that at the embassy. And we got the wedding planned, and we got married. So it was the very first time that I met her. It wasn't cheap, because we got married, and I think we had about 100 people or more at the wedding, and had a honeymoon there, and stayed in the condo. I had to pay for everything, but in the wedding ring too. Unfortunately, I had the money for that already. My sister had passed away from cancer back when this is probably 2013, and the money that I had from her, I just thought, my sister said, she was my twin sister. She said, "I know you're going to marry a Filipino. I just know it." And so I used that money for the wedding ring. So I had that ready to go. In fact, after she accepted my proposal, I had time to run out to a store and find a nice ring. And so that was pretty cool. So Naki Dave, I just said, "Okay, if you'll marry me, here's some money for the wedding." And she kept me up to date on all the things she had to do, and then we got married. And I came back, and then we worked on the visa. That's always a part of the cost. And but yeah, I can spend a lot of money on chocolate. I think it was like $3.80 a bar or something, and I would eat like what 10 bars a week, sometimes more. 38, so yeah, $140 in chocolate and gum and all that. That adds up, but I still eat the chocolate, but I have tried to cut back on that. And dark chocolate is getting so popular now, you can get it for under $2 a bar when it's on sale. And then you have to buy as much as you can. It's kind of like toilet paper anymore with dark chocolate. It's become very popular. John says it's the coronavirus. The provinces are in lockdown, trying their best to stop spreading the disease. That's what they need to do. We have our home in Davao City where we stayed on our vacation, and they've got their lockdown. Sometimes it's hard for me to get information from my wife. She's not much of a talker. Um, but we just need to make sure we can help them if they need something, um, get them some money. I know she's already sent some money in case they can't, I don't know, go to the bank or they can't work, and then stocked up on supplies and things like that. John says book flights early, travel May or June timeframe. Well, I don't know if that will happen this year. It'd be nice if it would. And that's a possibility, John, for 2021, because that would be what, our sixth anniversary. Problem is, I know full well how hot it gets because we got married on May 10th, and it was so hot. I told my wife's family I'm never going back, and I hurt my back. It was a long flight. I thought, oh, I'm never going to do this again. Well, now I've been back. What have I been back? 4 times I've been in the Philippines now. So if you can handle those long flights, take some pain pills. Just don't worry about the length of time. Just try to enjoy it and relax. Find some movies. Try to sleep on the plane. There's not much you can do, but I would rather go a little bit later, John, because then I can save the vacation and not have to feel like I'm saving it all up until October, November, December. If you go too early and use a lot of vacation, then you don't have a lot of vacation for most of the year. Then if you take it in the middle of the year, it's really, really hot out there. Um, but yeah, we'll do what we can. We always book early. Um, May or June, is that supposed to be cheaper or something? Or is it so hot? Nobody wants to go there. I don't know. Balut is a really inexpensive snack. I would probably lose a lot of weight if I went on a balut diet. John, in fact, I'd probably lose my interest in food altogether. I just have not worked up the courage to do that. And I have kind of a quick gag reflex. I just don't think I could do that. Tagalog with Ospinoy. Hello, hosts and viewers. First time here. Only 8-hour flight from here in Australia to the Philippines. Well, thank you for joining us here tonight. 8 hours, wouldn't that be something? When we went to Paris, it was only 9 hours. 1 hour from Omaha to Detroit, and then 8.0 hours. I mean, just 9 hours on the dot to get to Paris, France. And that's a place I'd like to go to again. I mean, that's like nothing. For us to go to the Philippines here, it is 4 flights, and flight time, if you get a good 4 flights, you're talking about 26 hours, 25, 26 hours. I don't know if you can do it in 24. That would be, I don't know. So plan on about 26 hours, pat yourself on the back, and you're doing really good with maybe 10 hours, 12 hours of layover. Now it doesn't, go through LAX. You have to go to Hong Kong. I think that adds more time to the flight. So it's just it's a long day. 8 hours. That sounds like heaven. And thank you for joining us here tonight. May in the Philippines, the least expensive time to travel there. Maybe because it's so hot. I don't know. I'm half joking about that, but I know it is really, really hot. LA to Philippines, yeah, 15 hours. To be exact, I remember it because that's where it was the first time when I went to marry her. It was 14 and a half hours. And then coming back, it's always about 2 hours less. It's because of the winds. So it's like 12 and a half hours to come back, 14 and a half to go. Hong Kong to Hong Kong was like 12 and a half hours, I think, this last time, but only 10 and a half coming back. So, or was it 11 and a half going and 9 and a half back? Anything under, 10 hours to me seems like nothing, once you do it a while. No, at this point, I can't, well, I could get a direct flight to to LA. I just couldn't do it from the state that I live in. Yeah, well, we used to be able to go to from Nebraska to LAX, 14 and a half hour flight to Manila from LAX, and then Manila to Davao. But now we have to go to like Denver or Detroit or Minnesota, Minneapolis, go to Hong Kong, then Manila, then Davao. I know somebody else that drives to Kansas City. It's about 3 hours, and then they can go from Kansas City to LAX to Manila. But I don't know. I just, it's a long enough trip to spend 3 hours or so in a car, and something could go wrong. I just don't want to take that chance. That's just, it seems nice, save a little bit of time, 14 and a half hour flight, but wow, that was a toughie. So I don't know. They changed the routes. That's why if we want to go from Nebraska, we have to do it differently. The airlines changed the routes, and it wasn't to save money. It wasn't because I didn't like the long flight. I still wouldn't mind doing it, but we've been going to Hong Kong. Philippines Airlines is adding a direct flight to Cebu. Okay, we'll take it when we move. So will you be living in Cebu or nearby Cebu then, John? Because I think that move's coming up sooner rather than later. Kind of wish I could do the same thing sometimes, but I think it's going to be 4 years because I really need to get to 62 in early retirement. And I've never been to Cebu. That's another place I would like to go to. Of course, when we're there full time, be a lot easier to see different places in the Philippines. And so that's something to do some travel. I'm sure there's many places in the Philippines my wife hasn't seen. And I went to Surigao this last time, 9-hour bus trip. Talk about no social distancing. We had 18 people, I think, in that van for 9 hours. Of course, the airplanes are bad enough. And then you got your jeepney rides. They're really packed in there. Jeepney rides in the Philippines. Well, okay, John, I look forward to that. Keep me abreast of what's going on. Happy for you and Cindy to be able to go start your life or take your life in the Philippines for I don't know, new direction. I'm looking forward to it. We're going to have to keep working, my wife and I, for about 4 years. I never thought I would retire at 62. Before I got married, I thought it'd be 69. Then I got married and it was okay. How about 67? Well, then 66, and then okay, 65. Do 65, and then I thought, can we do 64? And then it was 63, and well, when is early retirement? 62. Okay, can we make that work? And then you do the estimates, and then you plug the numbers in the Philippines, and okay, well, I think that's possible. So that's how it happened for me. From retirement from 67 to 62. And I've done some videos on retirement, did about 6 or 7 uploads on thoughts on retiring. And because it's on my mind, and I do want to go out there and, not be stressed out. I don't want to go there and do nothing. Tagalog with us, Benoit, are you going to work in the Philippines? So kind of segueing into your question there. Thank you for your question. Work as in probably YouTube, if I still have the YouTube channel by then, and I certainly hope so, because I honestly believe that can do very well when in the Philippines, even though it might be another 4 years and 500 videos more before that happens. We'll see. I don't I don't think so. I mean, that would be my work, but it would be work that I wouldn't, have to do every single day. It better be fun by then. I'm willing to put in some time grinding it out until then, because I do want to help men find love beyond the sea. Honestly, I really do. I don't have to do this. I don't have to assemble 230 more videos, topics like I have on the computer, most of them written. Um, I'm doing it to help guys because I know how good it feels to go from, I think I'm going to be alone and miserable the rest of my life and wonder why in the world I missed out on a good relationship. Now just pinching myself and saying, you have a good relationship, and relationships take work and effort, and they're worth it. What's better than to have one person to spend the rest of your life with that knows you inside and out and can accept you, and you know them inside and out, and accept them and build your future together, in another country where she's happy with, and I'm really starting to warm up, no pun intended, to the idea of retiring in the Philippines. So YouTube, as far as work, I mean, there may be some volunteer work, would be nice to do. That since we're going to be there, um, there's plenty of time to find something to do along those lines. Um, that would be it would be work, but it would be more of a labor of love, maybe instead of a necessity type of situation. Phil's Phoenix, Cindy's last day, April 10. If quarantine is cleared up, there's an outreach for her to register dual citizenship and renew her passport April 27th. Well, that would be good for 10 years, right? And that's something to pray about, John, because that sounds like a very, very wonderful opportunity. So you must be ready to launch out for the Philippines here pretty quick. Um, and this Filipina that we know that's in the Philippines now, I mean, they should have been back already. They were saying they can get plane tickets in April to come back here. So, I don't know why they couldn't just do it already. And I mean, who knows? I don't know what they know ahead of time already for April, why they can fly back, but that's what they said. Then they have to wait for 2 weeks at home. So I'm happy for you, John. And because one day I'll be following right behind you in Davao City, Philippines. Now we've got 4 years for Aiza to get her citizenship. I only want it for her so that she can travel with me before I die one of these days in the Philippines. I'd like to see Italy, although she said it may be a few years before she feels like going to Italy now after letting everything settle. Paris again, just places in Asia, and if she has a U.S. Citizenship, it's just a lot easier for her to travel. I know she doesn't want to relinquish or renounce, sounds even worse, her Philippine citizenship, which is part of getting your American citizenship. But as far as I know, you can just go right back to the Philippines and get it reinstated to become a dual citizen. Correct me if I'm wrong. She just doesn't like pulling the goalie, so to speak, and not having that citizenship for the Philippines. But she can get it right back. It's just an emotional, sentimental thing, I think, right now. Tagalog with Ospinoy. Some channels in the Philippines do well. My favorite at the moment would be Bud Brown. Simple videos, mainly his morning coffee run, just like seeing the sights. You mentioned Bud's channel. I've seen some videos. I know he's been around a long time, and that was my appeal, or what appealed to me early on with these videos. I watched Rike's videos because when I got married, that was back in 2015. I'm sure he was doing very well. And I didn't know a whole lot about the Philippines, to be honest with you. I just married a Filipina. So I watched Rike's channels, and I knew Bud Brown was on at that time. And, and some other guys. I think Rike was the bigger one. And I loved hearing the roosters and the scooters and the dogs and the sights, and kind of saying, yeah, I've been there. I know what that's kind of like. And thinking about, well, at the time I wasn't thinking about living there, but now we are, of course. Um, and so there was a lot of appeal. I remember watching, who else? Fazio was on at that time, and his videos were, I know, more amusing to me back then, because he would be out there, out and about, and with his sense of humor, and I really liked his videos. But a lot of people are just, I don't know. It doesn't seem like it's the same thing. This channel is not going to be, where you're going to see us do our everyday life type of thing. My wife doesn't want that, and I don't want that. I don't think it would be all that interesting. Um, but those videos from those early days were fascinating. There's a lot more people out there. There wasn't live streams at that time, and maybe people get tired of thinking of topics. I don't know, but maybe the whole Philippines vlogging community will get reinvented at some time. But yeah, Bud's very simple. I'd like to do the same thing. Just you and me, and talking. Not a whole lot of flash, and just keep it real. So that's what he does. John says most people think this will clear up mid-April. Well, we shall see, because that's not very far away. It seems like the rates keep going up, and so to say might clear up by mid-April seems a little bit, um, maybe a little bit too optimistic. Urban 9, thank you for joining us here tonight. It says, I'll be honest, most expat channels are lame these days. Bob, it is your job to change the game once you make the move and blow up your channel. I think you can do it. Well, I appreciate the sentiment, Urban 9. In 4 years, honestly, what happens if I'm a father? In 4 years, what happens if we have a little one, or twins running around in 4 years? That would blow up the channel and blow my mind too. But who knows? We're just going to try to grind through uploads. As I said earlier, Urban 9, I think this will be the last live stream I do until I get to about 1,000 subscribers. Takes a lot of time. I enjoy doing it, but I think the rate of rewatching live streams is not all that good, and overall you're probably better off doing a bunch of uploads and getting those watched and shared a lot more than somebody's going to do with a 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 hour live stream that a lot of people are going to. But I appreciate the kind words, and I'm just going to try to be me. That's all anyone can do. I don't want to copy. I'm not going to pretend I'm somebody else. I just want to be real, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. John says Cindy just logged out of work, wants to go for a bike ride. Well, I'm sure the weather is good for that, so enjoy your ride. John, thanks for coming around. Tagalog with Aspinoy. I used to watch Rike and Philippine Dreams. That's Ned, but stopped when Rike broke up with Lynn and Ned with Michelle. Well, better days for Ned right now. I do not know the name of his wife. I know he is married, and I don't watch his channel. You can't watch everybody, especially when you have your own channel and you're working 6 days a week and you have a wife. You're lucky to watch anybody else's channel. Since I missed so much time at work the last 2 years, that's about the time I really can see what's out there, when I actually have more time and can pop in to different live streams. But if I can stay healthy, I don't think I'll be able to do that. Rike's hopefully sees the good in front of him, and will do like Ned did, and settle down, tie the knot. Tagalog with Aspanoy, you have to go now. thanks for joining here for the first time you got in here, which be the last live stream for a long time, probably for me, unless there's a special interview or I'm on somebody else's channel. I think I'm just going to focus on uploads for the time being. So I appreciate the people here tonight. We've gone about 70 minutes, and I think I will cut it off there. So keep looking for uploads. Dr. Philippines will be doing videos on relationship questions and that you may have thought about. And again, head over, if you haven't already, at least check it out. See what the community corner is like, the WordPress blog site. Maybe you can have some direct messaging, private messaging over there. I think you can even call people and do video calls over there as well. So thank you for you gentlemen being here tonight. I'm going to go work on an upload before it's too late. And enjoy your week. Stay tuned for uploads right here on Love Beyond the Sea.